Nathan Zegura here at Cleveland Browns Stadium with your Clutch Transportation post-game recap. The Browns are 8-5, the number 5 seed currently in the AFC after knocking off the AFC South leading Jacksonville Jaguars 31-27 in a dramatic game. Now, folks, this one had it all. You wanted offense, boom, you got it. You wanted some defense from this Cleveland Browns football team, boom, you got it. You wanted drama? Well, maybe you didn't need all the drama. Maybe it could have been a little easier, but drama, you got it in this one. 31-27. It would end when the Browns recovered an onside kick and were able to get into victory formation. But how did we get to this very important win given all that happened around the AFC this week? Think about it. The Steelers lost on Thursday night. The Colts lost today. The Texans lost today. But the Browns, they won. And it started on the opening drive. Joe Flacco looking good again. Kevin Stefanski brought out that goal line package at midfield, but instead of running it, play action to the Chief, touchdown. The Chief would score again early in the second quarter. He'd finished with over 90 yards and 2 scores, the first multiple touchdown game of the Chiefs' career. The Browns were up 14-0. They would go into the half up 14-7, and because the Browns still were giving the football away, Joe Flacco would throw an interception. Ultimately, there would be 3 giveaways by this Browns team, 2 of them which led directly to 14 points for the Jags. So there are things to clean up coming out of this game, but overall, it was a great one. Flacco would throw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in this one. Kareem Hunt would score a touchdown. I mentioned the 2 from the Chief, but how about the 4th touchdown? Well, that was our clutch play of the game. On 4th and 3, the Browns in Jacksonville territory, barely, near midfield. This was a monster play, a gutsy call. Flacco found David Bell all alone in the middle of the field. He would run to the end zone. As he looked up at the scoreboard, he could tell there was nobody near him. David Bell grinning ear to ear, his first career touchdown, a monster one for the Browns. That got him to 28 points in this game. But how did they get to 31? Because every time the Browns scored, and this defense, boy, did they have takeaways. You had 2 interceptions for M.J. Emerson, a new career high. You had Greg Newsome get an interception as well. 3 interceptions on the day. Anthony Walker and forced a fumble. So this defense, they had 4 takeaways. But somehow, Trevor Lawrence, who showed no ill effects from that ankle injury, he kept swinging, and the Jags kept making big play after big play, getting in the end zone, keeping this one close. In fact, at one point, they would get within 7. The Browns, late in this game, they needed Dustin Hopkins. But how did Dustin Hopkins get that chance? Because on another clutch 4th down, right about the Jags 40, the Browns defense came up with a huge stop. And then Dustin Hopkins, with the Browns up 7, hit a 55-yard field goal. He drilled it into the cold Cleveland December night to put the Browns up 10. They would end up holding on after a late touchdown by the Jags that brought it to 6. They went for 2, did not get it. That brought it to a 4-point lead, and then the Browns would recover the onside kick. James Prochet falling on it, and the Browns would get the victory. But back to D-Hop for a second. How about this, folks? He is now your Cleveland Browns franchise record holder for the most field goals made in a season. He's made 31 of them. And also, the record holder for the most 50-yard field goals made in a season by a Cleveland Brown. He's now 8 for 8, and none bigger than the one here that made it that 2-score game. This team still has things to improve on. Too many penalties on offense, too many false starts, too many giveaways. Flacco with an interception and with a fumble in this one. But ultimately, this Cleveland Browns team, they made enough big plays. 4 sacks for the defense. The defensive line, Za'Darius got home. Obo got home. Miles got home on the 2-point conversion at the end of the game to prevent that and make it a 4-point lead. And then they had those takeaways, all 4 of them against this Jacksonville Jaguars team. So again, things to clean up, but whenever you look at the landscape of the NFL and of the AFC in particular, as we're getting into meaningful football here in December, Joe Flacco wins his 100th career regular season game as a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Jim Donovan was back on the call. He'd called a lot of Joe Flacco wins. None for the Cleveland Browns in this stadium, and boy, this was a big one. Everybody around the Browns lost. The Browns won, putting themselves in a great position. They take on the Chicago Bears next Sunday right here again at Cleveland Browns Stadium. The Bears, by the way, beat the Detroit Lions by 15 today. The Cincinnati Bengals, who the Browns play in the final week of the season, you know what they did? They beat the Indianapolis Colts by 20 today. The New York Jets and the Houston Texans, they played. The Jets beat the Texans 30-6. 30-6. So some shocking outcomes And it was so important that the Browns took care of their business, and they did that. Again, things to work on, but I got to tell you, go back and watch the tape. A masterclass by Kevin Stefanski. The play calling, the timeout utilization, all of it really set this football team up for success. And then Joe Flacco, cool as a cucumber. Last time he was in this stadium, over 300 yards, multiple scores. Today, 311, 3 touchdowns. The Chief, MJ, Newsome, all of it. The young players rallying despite the injuries around them, making enough plays for the Browns to win. We're going to have a full breakdown for you of it tomorrow on Cleveland Browns Daily. Myself, Bo Bishop, and the Hoff, Joe Thomas. The Browns are 8-5. You can hear the music. It's a celebration, and there's still much more work to do.